Here we go. It is Jacob Warren, one of my favorite times of the week. Jacob Warren, Tennessee tight end, brought to you by Bassey Lawn and Garden. Man alive, it is worth the drive. And suddenly we're in the off season, and
Yeah.
Jacob has decided to return for one more season at Tennessee. Jacob, it's been a few days since you made the decision and made it public. How does it feel now that it's settled in?
Yeah. I mean, it feels good. It feels good to kind of get that, I guess, not weight off my shoulders, but just kind of be able to move on. Obviously, there's been a lot of questions and been a lot of speculation, either, both ways. And it's just good to kind of get it out there. And it's also been nice to see people, excited to see that I'm coming back. And, um, planning on next year to, I've heard see people, oh, can't wait to buy your jersey for, one last season, whatever. So gotten a lot of support, gotten a lot of love, which is really good.
I was told by a source that the main reason you came back was to be a part of this show brought to you by Bassey Lawn and Garden. Is that true or not?
That's actually why. Yeah. I didn't mention it in my announcement, but that is why. Um, that's on the download though. I wish you wouldn't have said it on air.
that's that's on me. That's my bad. Well, we're incredibly excited off the sports. I know David Bassey of Bassey Lawn and Garden is happy to have you for another year, so we're looking forward to it. And there's a lot to look forward to. As
Hmm.
I'm curious as to how. I don't ask about statistics because tight end that can sometimes I know with the rotation sometimes Princeton was in there and caught a couple of
Sure.
passes. You could have done the same thing. So
Sure.
not statistics, but how do you want to grow as a player now that you've got another season to prepare yourself for the NFL?
Yeah, just looking the part, right? I'm a big guy, but just filling out a little bit more, putting on a little bit more weight. Good healthy weight, muscle mass, getting which obviously will in turn allow me to be stronger whenever I'm blocking and playing, but also just on the perimeter, right? Being able to get in and out of my breaks quicker. And I think a big thing is developing a good relationship with Joe, with the quarterback. Me and Hendon had a good relationship, and going into this next season will be big. That Joe trusts me out in the perimeter and in protection as well. But yeah, just building that relationship with him through just reps of practice. I mean, whether it's just me and him or me and a couple of guys out on the field, just trying to get that timing down will be really big for me.
Well, I absolutely love the way that Joe threw the ball in the intermediate routes, the slants over the middle. Something
Yeah.
we didn't see as much with Hendon. How big of an aspect of his game can be those type of routes, the slants, the digs, those sorts of things.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that's we want to be able to ask a quarterback to make all those throws, right? Make the short ones, the little checkdowns, make the intermediate passes across the middle that, maybe he has to, we call it window shopping, right? Maybe he has to find a window and throw it in that window. And I don't know anyone that's better at fitting that pass into a window than Joe. So, being able to do that is really big for the offense. And then obviously being able to take the top off, right? And throw it deep, which we all know he can do. So,
When's the first time you caught just a really bullet pass from him? I'm talking about a low profile ball, not a deep ball, but a low profile ball. And what was your response? I mean, was there a wow
I'm,
moment?
I mean, yeah, you kind of sit there and I don't know. I can't necessarily remember a specific moment, but yeah, that ball really jumps out of his hand, and you can tell whenever whether it's flying to you or whether you're like, oh wow, that kind of hurt, right? Like my hand, that didn't feel too good on my hands, whatever. So obviously not every time, and our job is to catch the ball, so shouldn't really matter how fast it's coming, but definitely yeah, an adjustment to how hard he throws the ball.
No question about it. So I want to get to a comment that is on offthehooksports.com right now that's written by Jimmy Hyam. And you talked about Clemson. I remind you that the Ball Report with Jacob Warren is brought to you by Vassey Lawn and Garden. They've got the industrial mowers, the commercial mowers, the residential mowers that it's worth the drive from Knoxville, Nashville, or Chattanooga to Cleveland, Tennessee with their buying power, especially in those industrial and commercial. You're going to save a lot of money. Vassey Lawn and Garden, man alive, it's worth the drive. So Jimmy Himes wrote on offthehooksports.com that the team you most wanted to beat growing up was Clemson, which is interesting. Why?
Yeah, I'm not sure how. it was worded in the report or whatever. But essentially, yeah, it was after the game. He had interviewed me and was just asking, what that meant to beat, beat a team like Clemson. And I wouldn't say growing up. I don't know if that was taken out of context or what, but um, ever since, I've got to college, right? And Clemson was very prominent, obviously, and still is. And it has nothing to do with like hating Clemson or not liking them. I think that they're great. They have a great program. Their coaches do a good job, have cool players, whatever. But just I think them being at the forefront of college football whenever I was coming into it and winning lots of national championships, being in the picture a lot for some reason, it was just them that I felt like I always wanted to play. Um, Again, no, it wasn't like, oh man, I can't wait to beat them, whatever. It was a team I wanted to play, and I never thought I would get the chance to play them because obviously they're in the ACC, and once we got closer to this playoff picture, right, that became more of a reality, and then we ended up playing them in the Orange Bowl, and got the opportunity to play them, and won the game, which is awesome. But yeah, no, it just since I've been in college, they've been a great team, and I've always wanted to go up against them and see kind of how we compare. And did a good job.
Yeah, you guys did a really good job. You come in at number 6 in the final AP poll. What are your thoughts on being number 6 overall?
Man, it's a blessing just because like we've talked about, man. If you would have told us that that's where we would be at the end of the season, if you would have told us that at the beginning of the season, we all would have been on board of whatever we need to do that is what I'm gonna do. So obviously, it's amazing to be able to finish the season out the right way and be top 10 in the nation, and I think pretty. I don't know what the right word to be is, but um, without much argument, without much pushback. I don't think people really think that that's wrong. Across the board, a lot of people would agree with that ranking and would think that maybe even we should be higher. So, yeah, very happy with that. Obviously, you want to be as high as possible, and you want to be in the playoff, and you want to win it all. But yeah, still very happy with what we were able to do.
I thought you should have been higher. There's the team above you that wears red that you guys beat.
Yeah, we did. It's okay.
I mean, when you see that, any thoughts? You're not a trash talker, but still, any thoughts?
I mean, but that's what we've been dealing with since whatever week it was. I think the week before all the SC championship games and stuff like that. Like they had ranked them above us, and once they did that, it was pretty obvious that nothing was going to change that because there was nothing that could have happened to change other than maybe them losing and us winning our bowl game, whatever. But yeah, and they made it pretty clear that they thought they were the better team a couple weeks before the season ended or at the end of the season, and there was probably not much to change that. So I'm kind of over it. Like it is what it is.
Is it all a motivating factor in the offseason, things like that being disrespected?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think that you go into the off season now just being like, man, okay, we haven't arrived, right? We haven't accomplished everything that we want to accomplish, but we are on the scene, and we are a prominent figure and a prominent name in the SEC, but also in the nation. And so going into next season, obviously looking to kind of uphold that and show everybody that it wasn't just a fluke season or whatever, that we really are changing the culture and changing this program.
Now that you look back, when you look back in August, because fans like to go through the schedule and they'll go win, loss, win, loss, win, loss,
Yeah.
that sort of thing, swing game, all that. What in your heart of hearts, what did you hope for in terms of the season? Did you hope for number 6 or better, or did you actually exceed your expectations?
I mean, I think that truthfully, like whenever we said like that Atlanta was the goal, that was the goal, right? And in your head, you go through and you like, I think all those games that people put as L's, I say I would count as like the swing games or whatever you call them. Like people go through, oh, they're gonna lose there, they're gonna lose there. It's like we don't think like that. It's okay. We should win that one. We should win that one. That one will be a good game, right? That's usually what I say. That'll be a good game. Like we have the chance to win that one, right? That'll be a good game, and a lot of those games that will be good games win our way this year. Alabama, LSU, right? Like all these big time games, they went our way, and we were able to pull them out. And just the same way, if we make a couple more mistakes or don't execute on a certain plays, they could go the other way. And that's how it'll be every year, and that's how it will be going on in next year and the year after that.
When you have success, you're going to have people that want to mimic that success.
Yeah.
And that was the case when South Florida hired Alex Golesh. So uh, it was a natural fit to slide Joey Halzle into that position of OC. What can you tell me about Joey Halzle and his approach to the game?
Yeah. Truly one of the, I mean, I guess they're all very smart, but he's a very intellectual, very smart, very intelligent coach person. Um, just the way he talks and the way that he, communicates a lot of things on the field. If I have a question about, where the quarterback might need me or want me on a route that I'm running, or maybe a protection, where my eyes should be. He's always very articulate in the way that he explains it to me, which I appreciate because that's how I would prefer to take in information, is someone just explaining it exactly how it is. And yeah, man, just we have a great relationship just because we get along really well off the field. Um, he's got a great family, great kids, and they're always running around, and it's always fun to interact with them. And yeah, I'm just super excited for him. Being a younger guy, I guess a lot of the guys on our staff are younger, but being a younger guy and getting this opportunity to take a hold of this offense and continue what we got rolling here.
I look at young guys. I think they bring innovation and new thoughts to the crew. It's not like Josh Heupel's old. I mean,
Right.
but how much do you think he can help with that, with maybe new looks and some different things, and really some of the things that you guys did last year? Um, was he a big part of that, to your knowledge?
I mean, to my knowledge, I know all of them were very collaborative in the effort to kind of put game plans together. And obviously, AG Coach Golish was like the head of the offense, and he ran the offense and everything like that. But it's Heupel, it's Halsley, it's Coach Mack, it's Coach Pope, it's everybody kind of working together to put the best plan together. And so obviously Halsey was involved in that process, and so now that he's the one that'll be technically in the lead, it'll still be the same exact format, I'm sure, of them all working together to try to, bring their pieces of the puzzle in and try to figure it out.
I, a lot of people just want to know who's calling plays, and I don't even know if that's been determined yet. But I sometimes think as play calling as a little bit overrated. I think it's game plan development that's more important. But does that job with you at all? Does that make sense?
That makes sense. I mean, to me, like as long as you have the right plays, and I think this is what you're saying. As long as you know that they're going to be in a 4 down defense or they're going to be a 3 down defense, and we have all of our plays that are really good against 4 down. Does it really matter whether you call this one or whether you call that one? If they're in 4 down, this is the situation. If the O line executes, if the running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, quarterback executes, like does it really matter if you run that run play versus this run play? No, it doesn't. If people are very results oriented though in this game and this profession. So if it's if you run that one and it doesn't work for whatever reason it is, then that's a bad call. And whereas if it gashed and it hit for a first down or for a touchdown, oh, that's the best call. I can I mean, he's a great offensive coordinator, whatever. So yeah, man, just truly going in and just having a great game plan, and Halsley, Heupel, like they all know how to call plays. That everyone's been around football for longer than I've been alive, right? So um, yeah, it'll just be a matter of everybody getting on the same page and everybody going to work and doing everything they can to be successful. So
How many times do you know the play call before it even comes in, or at least a rough idea of it?
yeah, it's there's specific situations that with Coach Golish I knew what was coming. If something just happened, right? Say we pick up a first down, I know what's coming next. Or say, the ball goes out of bounds into the boundary and I see a formation, like I know what play it is out of that formation into the boundary, like things like that. Just different situational things. I look over at the signaler and I'm like, I think we should run this, or I think he's about to call this, whatever it is. And sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. I think it's fun to kind of play a little game of guessing the play before it comes in. But yeah, no, it's you do it so much, right? We do it in practice every single day. We do it in the games every week, and you kind of get familiar with how the coaches call it, and kind of what they want to see. So yeah, you can kind of pick up on it for sure.
Okay, we've talked about kinesiology. We've talked about a broadcasting career, but have you ever thought about coaching? Just curious.
I have thought about coaching. I'm very it's always something that I feel like I would be, pretty decent at. Just because the way I'm able to communicate, the way I'm able to talk about the game. I enjoy being around football, obviously, because I've done it for so long. I would love to have an impact on young people, right? I don't know. I don't know where I would find myself, whether I would be, in college coaching or high school coaching or little league, whatever it may be. But I think down the line, maybe one day, I'll get on the field with a whistle and, and have my time as a coach. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe you're a kinesiologist. You're doing ESPN broadcasting on the side, and
Mm.
coach your son's team.
In the afternoons and the evenings, I go to the little league field and coach my kids' team. That'd be awesome. We'll see.
I have Jacob's career planned out.
Planned it out.
Very talented guy. How much of the national championship games do you watch?
Well, see, there's this thing like my ESPN app like wasn't working, and then my DirecTV stuff login like wouldn't let me in, so I didn't even end up watching it. I think I checked the score after like the first quarter, and I was like, is it really worth like trying to figure this out just to watch this game? And no offense to anyone, but I did not think it was worth watching, so I didn't watch it, and that's okay.
No, I understand. I understand. I think a lot of people switched over to a documentary about the middle of the second quarter.
hmm
You have heard the score. Did that surprise you at all that it was as one-sided historically as it was?
I mean, yes and no. Like I haven't watched a lot of film on TCU, but I did know that they were very explosive in their offense, kind of similar to how we were. Um, but I also have seen what Georgia's defense has done to many teams, including us. Like they played us really well, held us to I'm pretty sure like 13 points, 14 points, whatever it was. And we were the best offense in the nation. Like that's backed by facts, by statistics. So if they're able, I mean, like what they were able to do to us, obviously I knew they would be able to do to TCU. It was just a matter of if TCU could figure it out and if they could score enough points, honestly, to keep up with Georgia's offense. Brock Bowers played a really good game. Obviously, Stetson Bennett played well. Um, their offense obviously put up a lot of points and did it pretty quickly. So, yeah, man, it was their dominant team, and it's unfortunate that that big of a game ended up playing out that way. Just because I know a lot of people were really excited to see it and wanted it to be a really good game. So obviously, you wish that that's a closer game, but at the end of the day, they came out, they earned it, and they won the game fair and square, and no sense in dwelling over it or complaining about it now, I guess.
Well, welcome back for another year. You've become a fixture in Tennessee football, and congratulations on that. I know it's a tough, huge decision. We look forward to working with you, and I guess you start hitting the weights pretty soon. So
Yeah, of
we always appreciate the time. Congratulations, and
course.
thanks, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
He is Jacob Warren. I'm Dave Hooker. This has been a presentation of Off the Hook Sports brought to you by Bassey Lawn and Garden, man alive.